So welcome back to Fuzhou for the Fuzhou China Open Day 2, or second round action I should say. Day 2 of competition, of course. It's Day 3 of competition. It's second round action today. And as you can see, our first 3 matches, the number 1 seeds have come through all 3 first matches for today's programme. That last one with Gideon and Sukamolyo, as with the final a year ago. 3 games against He Jiting and Tan Qiang. Well, after the number 1 seeds for 3 matches, we now have the number 3 seeds for 3 matches. Because our next match is women's singles, and it's the defending champion, CHEN Yu Fei, the number 3 seed, up against the left-handed OHORI. After that, we will have men's singles, then men's doubles, then back to men's singles, and finish with mixed doubles, so still plenty to come. So the players come on to court, and we can hopefully have a brief look at the women's singles draw. I can tell you that the tournament started, as we're looking at the left-handed OHORI. We had 6 previous finalists, including 4 former winners of this tournament. 3 former winners were in the bottom half of the draw. Not only CHEN Yu Fei, but Sina Nehwal and Yamaguchi. And both Sina Nehwal and Yamaguchi lost in the very first round. So did another former winner, and that was Pusala Venkata Sindhu, winner in 2016. She lost in the first round as well. So as you saw, this will be the 7th meeting between these 2 players, and all previous matches have been won by the number 3 seed CHEN Yu Fei from China. Last time they met was in the quarterfinal of the Badminton Asia Championships in Wuhan. It's the 3rd meeting between these 2 this year. So the defending champion, 21 years of age, born in Hangzhou, the capital of Xinjiang province. So number 3 in the world at the moment, but did spend a total of 15 weeks across 3 different spells, as will number 2. And what a year she had last year in winning this title, beat 3 former world champions back-to-back to win the title. Okuhara in the final, Carolina Marin in the semi-final, and the quarter-final she'd beaten Ratchanuk Intanon. In her first round here this year, she beat the European Games bronze medalist Evgenia Hosetskaya, coming from 15-18 down in that first game to win 6 of the next 7 points to win 21-19, 21-12. So to OHORI, who turned 23 last month, currently 20 in the world. In fact, she went down 1 place earlier this week. She has been as high as 13, 3 weeks in total across 2 different spells. And prior to this year, she had never won a match here in Fuzhou. This is her 3rd appearance. She lost in the first round in 2016 to Tai Su Ying, who went on to reach the semi-final. And then last year, lost to the woman she beat in the first round here, Han Yue. Beat her yesterday, revenge for last year's defeats, winning in 3 games, 1 hour and 1 minute. And Han Yue, World Championship, Junior Championship silver medalist 2 years ago. So that's a very good result for OHORI. So our umpire for this one is from Bangladesh, Mohammed Shamin Hassan Saikat, and our service judge, Chu Xianyu from China. So Stephen, before play gets underway, what an upset in the first round matches. 3 former champions going out at the very first hurdle. Pusala Venkata Sindhu, Sina Nehwal and Yamaguchi.
Yeah, in many ways, but on the other hand, if you had to pick some upsets, it's probably some of the ones that you would have had if you should pick 5 matches, because they haven't really played that well lately. Any of the 3 players, probably for different reasons, or for more or less injury reasons and lack of form.
Level. Play.
So the left-handed OHORI from Japan getting this match underway against the defending champion, CHEN Yu Fei. That's landed in. That's a misjudgment from last year's winner.
1 love.
Short. So it's going to be interesting, given what you just said about those 3 former champions that have already lost in the tournament. It's going to be interesting to see how fit this lady is, because this is her first tournament back since she twisted an ankle at the Denmark Open.
It seems to me that we've had a lot of those injuries. Luckily, mostly smaller injuries, but still twisting ankles. We're going to see Shiyuki, who's also twisted his ankle more severely. Heping Zhao also twisted her ankle as of late. I can't remember which tournament it was, but she did. And we saw Lee Jia earlier today retire against Kento Momota. So it's taking its toll on the players. And one of the keys to playing well is to stay healthy.
Yeah. Boon, Japanese women's singles coach. Oh, that's delightful. What a super shot from the left-hander.
Really efficient shot to play back cross. When you've been crossed yourself, look at it, here it comes. A lot of players have a tendency to, when they've crossed themselves, they're focusing on a straight return. So if you can play back at them cross, then it's somehow difficult footwork.
Had a very good result in Denmark, this lady, reaching the quarter-final stage, having beaten Ratchanuk Intanon en route to that quarter-final. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's like both OHORI and Saka Takahashi, the number 3 and 4 in Japan, they've sort of enjoyed good runs over the summer here. Gucci, of course, really dominant up until Indonesia Open when she won it, but then
she won the following week in Japan as well.
She won Japan as well, yeah, that's right. And then after that, struggled with injuries.
Yeah.
And hasn't really been any significance in any of the tournaments that she's played ever since.
No, she's lost her #1 ranking status, and that's been taken over by another Japanese player, Nozomi Okuhara. Yeah, Yamaguchi has really had a very tough time of late.
difficult to control the sideways drift. Sideways drift, right to left. Good retrieval. Oh, you look good. No, it stayed on her own side. CHEN Yu Fei.
All.
Again, this cross net shot, this time from the forehand side.
Oh my goodness, that's far too loose.
Service over. 8-7.
Oh, that's nice.
Service over. 8
I
all.
suppose her biggest result to date, OHORI, when we're talking about this year's semi-final of the New Zealand 300 event. So it's sort of a tier below these top tournaments, isn't it? She does very well on the 500 and the 300 events,
Yeah.
but struggles really to get through to the latter stages of the 750s and 1000s.
Good technical skills. Has she, the left hand? It's like sometimes it's a little bit too nice and lacks perhaps a little bit of efficiency, and I wonder also whether
All.
she's strong enough on the physical part of it, not the stamina side. Perhaps the stamina, I don't know, but sort of like, yeah, strong enough, move fast enough. Is she optimized in that department?
Yeah, got a very slight build.
9.
That's why I think we saw CHEN Yu Fei take a big move last year in the physical department.
Yeah. Well, we're at the mid-game interval. 2-point advantage for the defending champion. 8 minutes into the match.
就把节奏变了一下啊。第二个就是你讲了，你要绝对相信你的本能，所以你就往前大胆去戳它，没关系的啊。结合后场，但有机会一定要抓球，知道吗？这样速度才会快，好吧？啊，自信一点，没关系。这个球啊，自己打得很好，包括杀球也是，后面杀得越来越好，所以线路出来就是啊，
耐心点，耐心点。他主要是先给你后场，然后再给你前场。先给你换这个，注意这个就行啊。
So the coach with the white tracksuit top on, Law Yigang, 2 times a finalist in the men's singles at this China Open, 1996 and 1997.
11, 9, play.
Oh, that's gone wide.
Service over, 10, 11.
And it seems actually like the sideways drift is quite severe, but strangely enough, it seems like it's mostly on the left side. It's not like you can play it a little bit outside the lines on the right side of the court and it will be kept in by the drift. That doesn't seem to be the case.
And yet hitting to the left-hand side of the court
Yeah.
as we look down, that one, for instance, definitely looked as if it was taken.
It was, so we're playing on a very narrow court. It's always the sideways drift takes it out more than it helps it in, but here I think it's a little bit more significant than we've seen in a lot of other stadiums.
Oh, that's lovely.
熬得住啊，熬得住就可以。
Seems like she actually deliberately just keeps it inside, tries to move it a little bit back towards the middle. CHEN Yu Fei, not the best of angles to see it from, but we still got an impression of the shot.
I suppose it's quite difficult for a player coming back from injury. How much do you push yourself to go for shots or retrieving shots when you're just a little bit out of position and so on? How much do you want to trust that injury is fully healed?
Yeah, I think it's very, very difficult. And I think it often needs a really, really close match to sort of make you forget that you're coming back from injury, that that you're so invested in winning the match that you forget that, hey, I was injured. And I also think that our brain is designed in a way that sort of protects the body, so it will try to avoid you putting yourself in situations where the same thing can happen again.
Yeah.
OHORI challenges.
So the first challenge of this match. I don't blame her for that challenge. I suppose we could be slightly higher in this stadium, but we're certainly very, very high up.
You would need to have a safety line on them, hanging from the roof.
Yeah, that's a very good challenge.
Correction in 14.
I'll have you know, Steen, the last couple of events, my form's been getting better on these challenges, you know.
It is.
I couldn't have got much worse, though,
No,
could I?
I tried to place you a little bit out to the side here, so I thought it wasn't particularly significant for you. It was more important that I was sitting well to see the lines.
Your cunning plan has failed. Just had so much time to think about that one. OHORI.
13, 14.
This is one of the situations where I feel that she often, or almost always, goes for the technical solution. Once in a while, I would just see her power through. I'm gonna hit it.
Yeah.
Basically, if you could sort of like mix her up with Carolina Marin, that would be a pretty
Formidable player.
yeah, it would.
Well, that's one left.
把它挑给他，给高一点，
13.
还是最多。
Too short. Oi.
Oh, that's definitely too short.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good rally from OHORI.
16, 14.
Neat shot. Yeah. Had to be careful on that, and indeed she was. we've never had more than a 2-point difference between these two players so far in this match. And we're still going.
Service over. 15-16.
No, the umpire asking him to come back onto court. I think he's been fairly lenient with them so far.
Play.
Oh, my goodness.
16 all.
Not only an error, it looked most peculiar, the shot in the first place. Oh, that's a lovely shot.
Oi!
Brilliant.
Fantastic deception there after she was being made to work in that corner, as you said, Joe.
16.
Little hold and flick, totally deceiving CHEN Yu Fei.
Engine 16.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Service over. 17.
Well, I don't think OHORI was particularly backing off. And she still got deceived by that.
Yeah. Got a little bit of a luck in that court, CHEN Yu Fei.
That's amazing.
Play.
Yes. Well, there's another challenge here from OHORI.
Yeah.
Ball in.
Somewhat down the line, but
I have to say, I was surprised by the challenge.
Yeah,
I thought it looked good.
but I wouldn't rule out that it sort of slides over the line.
Here we go. What does Hawkeye say? The line judge got it right.
Challenge unsuccessful. One challenge remaining. 18 all. Play.
It's one of the calls from up here where we want to take sort of half the credit if we're right. We just don't want to be discredited if we're wrong.
So this very important 18 all. Oh, she's going to challenge that as well.
OHORI challenges call out.
No, it was mighty close. And this is crucial. Out. Line judge was correct again, so she's got no challenges left. But that might be academic because her opponent only needs 2 more points to secure this opening game. Yeah, well taken. On a run of 4 straight points, the defending champion now has 2 game point opportunities. She converts on her first opening game to last year's champion, CHEN Yu Fei. 21-18 confirms the umpire. This is the final rally of that opening game. The push into the forehand corner of CHEN Yu Fei simply not good enough. 21 minutes for the opening game.
置いとから次の後ろとかって簡単な今みたいにぐらい準備しないっていう感じで。なってこないけど途中からちょっと球低くなって打たれるんで、それだけ気をつけよう。で前の球を後ろのちょっとコントロールしながら高さしっかりつけて、前みたいにクロス打たせて触らせて触ってから上がってきてから自分でいけば大丈夫だから、ないところからさっきから自分から仕掛けて走るのが多いんですけど、行く中もしっかり行かない攻め。 サイドとか取った後取るのも大丈夫、取った後からの後ろ準備早い、絶対後ろの球早く来るんだと思う。サイド前取ってから後ろしっかり上げてから守る。前の自分から仕掛けないと後ろコントロールできないんだ。 後ろ最初使ってみてダメやったら前にコントロールして最初から怖がってしっかり立たないとダメ、しっかり後ろに立たないときれいに打たれる出しから後ろ球使いながらしっかり出してから一歩アウトになってからプレッシャーをして間に合う。
Well, there's been a Japanese player in the final of the women's singles here in Fuzhou for the last 2 years. Yamaguchi winning 2 years ago. OHORI being beaten in the final a year ago by this lady. Well, she did enough in that opening game, did CHEN Yu Fei, but certainly didn't look to me to have the speed that took her to my friend and colleague's opinion as being the best player in the world earlier in this year. I distinctly remember, Steen, you saying you thought CHEN Yu Fei was the best player in the world, and until the Korean Open, she'd always reached at least a semi-final of every tournament she'd played.
I had really high hopes on behalf of her in terms of World Championships and so on, winning the All England, playing first women's singles in the Sudirman Cup campaign where China regained the title, but still it seems like she mentally wasn't ready for the World Championships. We've seen her become really nervous on other occasions, and I think it happened again to some extent. And then of course the unfortunate injury.
Yeah.
So she's been set back a little bit, but difficult to gauge exactly where she is at the moment. I'm also very curious to see her Bing Zhao when she plays later on today against An Se-young. I saw them this morning hitting a little bit in the hole here, and she looks really fit, her Bing Zhao. I still have a lot of belief in these two Chinese women's singles players, I must say that.
Yeah.
And I think the 5 last rallies in the first game here illustrated brilliantly some of the things that we discussed earlier on. I think that when you're up 18-16 like OHORI was, you really want to work really, really hard to get the last 3 points, because the reward is so big, so you can afford to use excess energy. But she doesn't play that way. She still plays technically brilliant and play with accuracy and stuff like that, but can't really make these changes in pace. And suddenly you run over by 5 points, because it takes a lot mentally to keep playing with the same accuracy that you've done throughout the first game. And I think it was small match points for CHEN Yu Fei, as OHORI is now forced to play a little bit different to her preferred playing style. She needs to play more attacking on this near side of the court because of the drift alongside the court.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. That's the safest corner on the court there in the backhand of OHORI, and we saw in the first game that a number of times she played too short when she tried to put pressure on CHEN Yu Fei there, but for CHEN Yu Fei it goes directly into the backhand of OHORI, so not certain how that will play out. This one was a good interception though.
4.
Steepness of shot.
5.
4 titles already this year for CHEN Yu Fei. You were mentioning the All England Steen, but she backed it up the following week at the Swiss 300, won also in Australia. That was the 300 event, and then in Thailand, the 500 event there.
6. 3.
So first 12 tournaments of the year, at least a semi-final in all of them.
Yeah, really consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, she's really struggling to control this drift now. OHORI
3.
hitting with the drift, so shuttle flying faster, going towards CHEN Yu Fei's end of the court, as she is at the moment.
And she's got to develop a sort of alternative playing style, or plan B, or call it what you want, but she needs to be able to attack more from this side here, because if you can't, she's not going to win.
Was a challenge.
OHORI challenges.
I assume
Ball
she must have
in.
thought that was on the back line, that the call was wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that close to the sideline. Oh, it was very close to the sideline. What a good call by the line
Challenge
judge.
unsuccessful. 1 challenge remaining. 8-3. Play.
So off balance. She didn't know whether to hit the return of the high serve or not. And from that moment, she was in disarray. Oof. 2 big high clears from the left-hander.
Yeah, that's one of
3.
the typical solutions. If you can't control the drift, say, okay, then I'll just play higher. Okay, you're welcome, but you just give your opponent even more time, so it's not going to work.
No, we should play 4 very high shots in that rally. You're right.
To me, it's a sign that she's totally doesn't have a clue on what to do.
Yeah,
Or maybe she has a clue, but she just can't do it.
can't implement it.
No.
challenge.
Ayala OHORI challenges called out.
Well, her body language there looked as if she was struggling physically. Oh, that's a good challenge. That's a very good challenge.
Correction in service over 4.
Well, that brings a run of 6 straight
Right.
points to an end. Yeah. So, 7-point advantage for last year's champion, CHEN Yu Fei, as they go to the mid-game interval here in the second game. You were saying in the opening game that when OHORI had forced a short lift and she went for a technical shot, a skill shot, and you felt she ought to go for a big power smash. Ever since then, I've been watching. She's hit what I thought was an attempted power smash, but now I see why she doesn't hit power smashes. You questioned earlier on whether she'd got the physicality. Now, that's good.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's more about the placement of the smash, because earlier on she was getting nowhere with it.
no, but it's putting pressure on your opponent. And I mean, she's playing with the drift. The shuttle arrives a little bit early with CHEN Yu Fei, and chances are she's not going to get the correct length. And I mean, trying to play with accuracy, or only accuracy in here, that's not a good solution in my opinion.
Oh, well, it was well left in the end.
Service over 6-12.
So trying to play with accuracy is not a good solution here because of the drift.
Yeah, mainly because of the drift, but it's also a big stadium, so it's difficult to get the correct timing in the early rounds. So even if there's next to no drift, then playing a big stadium is a little bit different in the early rounds, because you simply can't have the accuracy that you need. And that's an experience that a lot of players do the first time they switch from playing in more local stadiums to the global venues that the World Tour tournament is hosted in. It's simply too difficult. It's a different game.
Oh, goodness, that's good net play from CHEN Yu Fei.
And then as the tournament progresses, you get more and more used to the playing conditions.
And then you can go for your.
Then you can be more accurate later on. And we've often seen Lin Dan and Lee Chong-wei play finals where we think it's almost no drift at all, but there is in fact severe drift, but they've just adapted to it.
Yeah.
Service over 8-13.
That was a magnificent shot from the left-hander. Watch this. Brilliant. My goodness. Suddenly, where did that come from? And again.
Play. 9-13. Service over. 14-9.
Struggling a little bit with the defense in that backhand side.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely challenge that.
OHORI challenges call in.
I side with the line judge in this one.
Do you?
Yeah.
You are in a slightly better position. But you
Wrong.
see, I told you I was
Yeah.
back on form.
Ooh.
Great challenge by
Correction.
OHORI.
Out. Service over. 10-14. Play.
Difficult to play a tumbling neck shot off your opponent's tumbling neck shot. Your timing has to be perfect.
Great lift.
Check.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that is what you call perfection.
Yeah, but I don't like the shot. It's way too risky. I mean, she's already outplayed CHEN Yu Fei, so played with a little bit more margin. Of course, I like the outcome of the shot,
Yes.
but
Service over. 17-11.
also in terms of physicality, there's a number of those shots to the front court where she's very, very late, only reaches just below or just above the surface. OHORI. So defense, the
11.
pace of movement and the raw attacking skills is something that, in my opinion, she needs to work on if she wants to take the step from these Super 300s, Super 500s to being in contention in the top tier tournaments.
Looks as if the defending champion will be contesting the quarterfinal tomorrow. Toying with her opponent now. Oh, that's open. There you are, that's put me in my place.
Service over. 12-19.
Excellent skills technically.
Match point opportunities for the defending champion, and number 3 seed this year, CHEN Yu Fei. 8 opportunities to be precise. Oh, my goodness, that's wild.
Service over. 13-20.
It's good retrieving.
Gap.
There. Second time of asking, and CHEN Yu Fei beats Aya OHORI in 2 straight games. 21-18, 21-13. And she is safely through to the quarter-final.
21-18, 21-13.
41 minutes in total for the match. In this final rally, it had been the left-hander who was dictating the pace, and then made what has to go down as an unforced error, and a block to the net. So the defending champions in the men's doubles, they came through in our previous match. The defending champion in the women's singles has now come through this second round encounter. CHEN Yu Fei beats Aya OHORI 21-18, 21-13.